This video is my entry in the TubeDepot.com Tube Project Video Contest. And I'm Danny Rogers, and I'll be your host for the next few minutes as we take a short trip into my tube amp building world. We'll be looking at two tube guitar amps, one that I have completed building, all except for the cabinet, and the other I'm still working on, which I bought as a kit. But before we begin looking at these tube amplifiers, let me take you along on a journey back to how I got to the point of building tube amplifiers.
Come in.
Hello, Doctor.
Welcome. Come in. Have a seat. What seems to be the problem?
Well, I don't feel so good, Doctor. I got these weird, crazy vibes going through my head and stuff. I just don't feel good.
Yeah, you don't look too well. Well, tell me, what have you been doing differently that has brought about these weird vibes?
Well, I've been having these visions, these dreams, and being a rock and roll star go through my head, and I've been playing rock and roll riffs on my guitar here.
Stop you there.
Okay.
I think I understand what is wrong.
Okay.
You cannot play rock and roll on the classical guitar, so I'm going to write you a prescription for a good electrical guitar and an amp.
Oh, good. A good guitar. You mean something like a Squier or a Daisy Rock?
Well, what I think you need is a good name brand guitar, such as a Gibson or the Fender. Yeah.
Excellent. So I can assume that you're going to be writing me a prescription for a good tube amplifier too.
Oh, no. As long as you have a good guitar, I think that my amp will do the trick. I think solid state or even a simulator amp.
What? Solid state or a simulator? Solid state? Are you kidding me, Doc? There is nothing like a power cord ripping through a 12AX7 preamp tube, or a good red-orange glow of a power tube pushing a bunch of air through there. How can you say solid state is as good as a tube amp? Are you crazy? I mean, this is crazy, Doctor. I mean, there is nothing like a tube amplifier.
Okay, I see that there might be a need.
Yes, I think there is a need, Doc. I think maybe that there is a need that we might need to just end this session.
Well, you don't have to get up all in my Luftwaffe.
No, I said good day. Good day, sir. Well, that doctor sure didn't know what he was talking about. Let me walk you through some of my equipment. Come this way. This is a solid state amp. I bought this back in the early 90s for a jazz band that I used to play in. You see, I needed something clean, I needed something loud, and I really wanted something that was lightweight for carrying to gigs. And I've been playing this amp almost exclusively for about 20 years. Next, right over here, I have this digital audio workstation, and it is filled with all sorts of amp simulators of all the big name amps, which is kind of funny if you stop to think about it, because what they do is they sample tube amplifiers. They're trying to emulate the sound of tube amplifiers. Now, with both of these, you can get some great sounds for your guitar, but you know what? There was always something that was missing in my playing. So sure, I could have gone out to a local Guitar Mart, Mega Mart, and I could have just bought a tube amp. I mean, there are lots of great amps out on the market. You have everything from low dollar, mass produced amps to the high dollar handmade boutique amps, and you got everything else in between. But in my head, I had this certain sound that I was looking for. Well, I began investigating how to build tube amps. And I came across some great books to help me. And Dave Hunter's The Guitar Amp Handbook. And I want to tell you, it was Hunter's book that helped me understand that, hey, I could build an amp from scratch. And in fact, he gives the plans on making a nice little simple amp, and that is the first amp I built. So let's take a look at that amp right now. This is a two-stroke amp, and it has in this, it has one 6L6 power tube, one 12AX7 preamp tube, and one 5Y3 GT rectifier tube. Also, it's cathode biased or self-biased, which means that it can run actually on a 6V6 power tube, and that will give you around 4 watts. The 6L6 gives you somewhere between 8 to 10 watts. The 6V6 would give you 4 watts, and all you have to do is swap out one tube. Nothing else is involved in it. It's pretty simple, pretty versatile little amp. Now if you look on the inside here, if you've built tube amps before, you can take a look here and you can see that basically this is a Princeton amplifier. In fact, it's even built using a 5F2A chassis. Now, it does have a mod in it, and the main mod here is a boost switch, which is located right here. That's the main mod. It's got a couple other little things, but that's the main one. This is a great little amp for anyone wanting to build their first amp. It's one of the easier designs, and in fact in Dave's book he gives pretty much a step-by-step instructions on how to build this. There's also, with this type of amplifier, Class A amp, it's very versatile, and it has almost this magical type of sound. Very simple, one volume and one tone control, and you know, sometimes that's all that's needed to get the best sounds in the world, is just that simple little stuff. Keep it simple. As you can see, all that's left is to put it inside the chassis inside a cabinet, which I have on order. I have a Princeton cabinet on order with a 12-inch speaker, which I have a 12-inch Eminence speaker in this cabinet right here, that Eminence Wizard speaker. So right now, let's take a listen to this little amp right here, running in this cabinet with the as I said, that was one of the more simple designs. Let me show you right now just a brief look at one of the more difficult builds that there is. This is a kit which I bought, and it's designed to sound like a very famous boutique amp builder. Now, as you come in closer here, you can see that I have a lot of this already wired up. And this will run on two 6L6 power tubes, which are right here, and then it'll have three 12AX7 preamp tubes, which are wired up right here. And you can see all the intricacies that's in this build. You can see the capacitors and the resistors that are wired up into these tube sockets. And also, as you take a look at the volume and the tone controls, they have all this extra wirings in. There's three mini switches right there. This doesn't have a tube rectifier. It has a solid state diode rectifier right here is all this. So this is a lot harder. And what I'll be doing next, the next steps for this is I'll wire in a choke and a transformers, output transformers first, and then I'll be putting in the tone board, which will sit in here like this, and I'll hook all these wires up, and then I'll also add in the power board, which will go right around in there somewhere. It'll sit down in there, and these wires will hook up to the various places here. And once I have that done, it'll be ready to fire up. Well, that's all we have time for this time. I hope this video has encouraged you and even challenged you to try your hand at building a tube amplifier. I'm Danny, and until next time, keep on building, and remember to keep one hand in your pocket when you're checking those tube circuits.